Hello, I'm Wendy Wilson, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Profiles of Success. Today I have with me in the studio, she's one of the hardest working women I know on Darton State's college's campus. She is the director and manager of our dance program here, and just once she finishes one project, she's immediately starting on another. And so I'm excited because it's always that special time of year for this production, and she's got a very special one for the holiday season. But I could go on. I'll let her share with you what's going on in her area of concern. She is Dr. Elizabeth Delancy. How are you?
I'm well, and thank you for having me on your show.
Always a pleasure. Always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. Yes.
Thank
So
you.
you really do. You get started, do a fabulous production, and then immediately, I'm sure within hours of conclusion, you probably do an exhale and then get started on the next one.
Well, actually, this year we're working on two at the same time.
See? I stand corrected.
But it's wonderful to do what I love, and I have wonderful students. Yeah, we have the student choreography showcase coming up on the 16th.
Okay.
And and so we have flyers all around, and that one will be free for Darton, anybody with a Darton ID.
Outstanding.
But the one I really want to talk about is our program fundraiser, the Nutcracker.
Yes.
It's it's holiday tradition, I know, in this area, but what's very special is that we're doing this one on Darton's campus.
Okay.
We're doing it in collaboration with World Ballet, which is based in Tallahassee.
Impressive.
I've actually been on the board of World Ballet for several years, and what I love about the company is that, as the title, and I have the poster with me, you'll see it says the Nutcracker Diversity Celebration. Mm-hmm. Since its inception, Henry Hernandez wanted to create a production that reflected the culture, the diverse culture of Tallahassee. It's quite diverse. Well, we have a diverse culture here as well. And unfortunately, and as a child I experienced this, that if you were not of a particular persuasion, you were not featured in particular parts.
Sure.
So like as a child, I was always a soldier until I got sick of it and went someplace else. I was never in the party scene.
Yes.
And actually the first time I was in the party scene was with World Ballet.
Really? As an adult?
As an adult. As
Progress is sometimes slow, isn't it?
And unfortunately, in the ballet world, it still is very slow. We do have dancers making inroads, but we still need Dance Theater of Harlem and all of these, well, I guess predominantly black companies for the black dancers, and there are many, to really have an opportunity, while there are some that are making progress. Again, it still is very limited. What I love about what we're doing here is that in our production, not only do we have World Ballet coming, which is a diverse company, and setting their Nutcracker here in our theater, but we're also getting a chance, I'm getting a chance to showcase some of my dance students, and they have been also in the Nutcrackers, in the areas and what have you, and their experiences have been very similar to mine. Now, granted, I'm about 20 years older than they are. So again, so they're going to be featured quite a bit throughout first act and second act, and the party scene, the snow scene, a lot of core work, and the divertissements in the second half, I think I mentioned. And what I'm also really, really, really excited about is that in June of this year, earlier this summer, we did an audition to look for children from this area to participate in the Nutcracker. And we had a really great turnout, and from that we selected quite a number of children. And those children will be performing in the party scene in the first half, and then also in the second half. And 3 of those young girls will be performing in the production in Tallahassee as well.
Excellent.
So yes, we are very excited.
That is great news. I did not know that it had gone that expanded.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Let me go back. I'm pleased that you brought this subject up, and its importance of inclusion. And sometimes we have to, well, not sometimes, it's important that we have to be intentional with that effort. I often have conversations with individuals of other persuasions, and their question consistently comes up about, well, why do we have to denote or be specific with a designation? So, Dance Theater of Harlem, or what was the other ballet company
Oh,
that you
well,
met?
there's like Dallas Black is more of a, but that's an example.
Sure,
it's a modern
emphasis,
dance company.
Right, and so the emphasis on, nonetheless, on race. Why is that still a need?
Right.
And unfortunately, it is in 2013, because of course the expectation that you and I may have, and a lot of people may have, is that it just automatically occur, and that we do recognize the differences and embrace them.
Right.
But again, sometimes that does not. More often than not, it does not occur, and you have to be intentional to remind that we all bring, of course, differences. That's a good thing, but we all have experiences and skills that we bring to the table.
Right. Now, ballet, you know, in the Ballet Blanc tradition, I mean, you have, you know, still companies in Russia where the dancers powder themselves, for example, in Swan Lake, so that they're even whiter.
Okay.
So where would a dancer, my complexion, really fit in if this has been the tradition?
Sure.
Okay, so now we understand, okay, that's where the beginnings were, okay? But here we are in America now, you know, and we have to let go of, you know, things like, I know when Arthur Mitchell started Dance Theater of Harlem, talking about the reason that he started was because a lot of the black dancers would get the excuse, well, you know, your body type is not quite right, you know, you're too full in the bust, you're too full in the hips, et cetera, et cetera. But I know that if we look just on this campus, we see diverse body types.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we see too many overweight body types, okay? They need to come and take my dance classes.
I gotcha.
But that's just a little plug. But realistically, there are body types that range throughout every ethnicity. And we see that and the dancing, the black dancing body is just as lean and strong and graceful looking as any other culture.
Sure.
Okay, so yes, there are some structural differences, but you see that across the board. And what I also want to point out is, in our intention, it's not about choosing tokens. You know, because one thing that Henry and I talk about a lot is that it's not about just picking somebody because they're African American or because they're Chinese or because they're Filipino or Hispanic, but that you have to be able to do the work. So it's not just, I'm going to put you on the stage just because, you know, we can get that support, the financial dollar, the you know, what do you call it, the grant money. It's not about that. The kids that we have, the kids that I've cast, can do the work. And what's really fantastic about his company in particular, he has young dancers. Like the young girl who's doing performing the role of Claire, she's 10 years old, and she's dancing in pointe. You really won't see that in this area. A lot of children at the age of 10 are not dancing in pointe and maybe have, at best, a tenuous grasp on the basic technique.
Okay.
But what we're looking at with this company and why I'm so pleased about this collaboration is that the standard is raised. I want my dancers to start not only seeing that I'm not crazy in what I'm insisting, but that this is the standard. Because today, virtuosity is younger and younger. You see that across the board in a lot of things. You know, we're the computer age. You know, I'm not impressed when a child can use the computer because they're born into it. You know, but for me, you know, it's like, okay, I have to keep up. But this is something they're born into. These kids are born into an age where they have access to programs that show you how to do things with the body, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so you see when you go to the American Youth Grand Prix, for example, 7-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds doing roles that normally a 20-plus dancer would do, and they would do it in a very seasoned way. Well beyond their years. And so what I love about having this company that's working at that level, you know, having a relationship, they're very close, so it's nothing for us to, you know, jump in the car and then run to rehearsal and have my students see, okay, what is it like to be inside a ballet company? You know, because it's you know, and so again, because it reinforces what I'm teaching. Okay, look, this is why you wear the uniform. This is why you hold yourself this way. This is why you run this way. This is why you have to be open to learning different things, et cetera, et cetera. So the partnership is great for my program because it reinforces. And what I love is that he's given my dancers, my students, an opportunity to be integrated in a fabulous production.
That's great. You brought up another excellent point, and you reminded me of a lecture that I heard with our sorority sister, Dr. Mae Jemison, first African-American female astronaut, and to enter space, of course. And she talked about the point that you made about she has to sometimes challenge some of our elders as it relates to what our young people can do. And so when they're so impressed with their ability to, you know, get on a computer, navigate it, and, you know, my grand got the remote and she was able to, you know, plug in all the channels or set the DVR. And she said that's a sense of that's normal. That is their world. And so we have to be careful when we make exception of things. So as you pointed out, in terms of having high standards, whatever the industry is for our young people, whether they be in college, whether they be school age, that should be your normal. That should be your standard.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I'm really pleased, you know, not only does the standard continue to be consistent with World Ballet, but then, you know, we are raising the standard, you know, and that's always the goal. What's, you know, once this season is done, it's going to be, okay, then what can we do next year to top it? You never rest on your laurels. It's always pushing the envelope, because the thing is, I know what the students, you know, should they continue to pursue dance, what they have to face. You know, the realities are that there are a lot of dancers out there. I get the question, excuse me, from a lot of faculty here. Well, how many dance majors do you have? And, you know, and well, what can you really do with dance? You know, and of course, you know, my impulse is to, you know, do the backhand. But no, I'm just kidding. You know, it's really frustrating because, you know, there is ignorance even among the educators. You know, and the thing is, it's not just our program. When we look at, by and large, if you look at the big cattle call for the popular show, So You Think You Can Dance. For the crazy ones that they show, you know, the people landing on their heads, you see millions, or you don't see the millions of kids that go, who are equally fabulous, that may not have the look that they need, you know, that is marketable for television. Okay, there are, it is so highly competitive. And again, I'm not talking about the kids who maybe dance well in a club, or can shake their shoulders and throw their weave. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who have been trained and will not be seen on television. Hundreds, okay? And that's the reality. When you go out and you audition, you're talking about a cattle call. And when it comes down to it, do you have the technique? Okay, yes, let's say you do. Okay, do you have the right body type? Okay, it's aesthetic art. Great. What it comes down to is, okay, are you the exact height that we need? Are you the exact shade that we need? So the given is that you have to have the technique. You have to understand how the industry works, et cetera, so that that gives you a better chance, and hopefully you fit into the costume, etc. You know, so there are layers upon layers upon layers. And so my goal here with the program is, okay, let's at least get the 2 layers done. Let's make sure that you do have the technique. You understand the French lexicon. You know how to conduct yourself in a studio. Not only with me, but when you go to Tallahassee, you go to New York, you go to ACDFA, which is our annual conference, you know, where they get to meet other people from other dance programs and professionals in the industry. So, you know, all of this is coming together, and which brings me back to World Ballet. This collaboration, it is, I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's a fundraiser for the dance program as well. So I'm very excited, you know, so of course I'll share some of the proceeds with World Ballet, but it is an opportunity to do a fantastic production and then benefit not only the dance program, but the college and the community. Because again, I need for the people of Albany and the surrounding areas to see that, yes, there's another level, and that this kind of quality training can be had here at Darton, okay, and nearby, okay, and it is inclusive. You know, and I think that all of those things do come together with this production. They
do. That's so important. One of the things that I like that you just said is that with television and the different programs like You Think You Can Dance, and where you can share your voice or your vocal skills. I can't think of any right now. American Idol and all of those. And so it's kind of a blessing and a curse, if you will, because again, many people who may not have otherwise been able to have been showcased or recognized because of their talent and skills now have an opportunity to do so. The downside of that is many misnomers and falsehoods are created behind that. And so as I've heard you share with many of your students, it's more than just the tossing of your hair and the elaborate, there's some hard work, there's some
Absolutely.
dedication, there's some commitment, there's
Right.
some technique that is, and those have to be honed and developed over time.
Absolutely.
And so it's a building of,
Right.
of your own craft.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and my concern is I hear a lot of people say that because they just see the surface of it, and that just what 40-minute window in reality does not really capture what goes into that. And it's entertainment on many instances.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to look at how things are packaged. And I do get a lot of students that come and they've been dancing, doing whatever they define as dancing.
Okay.
And they are ready to go to New York before they register for my class. And then they get the reality check that, wow, I really don't know anything.
Right.
And so what I'm pleased about with the Nutcracker production is that the students who have been training and do understand, but just have not gotten the opportunity, they are going to get an opportunity to be showcased in a fabulous work. I know that even in Tallahassee when we do the production, and I was able to take 2 dance majors last year down with me to perform and participate.
Great.
This year the number has increased to 6. Actually, I will say, well, yes, 6, or is it 5? 5 Darton State College students and 1 ASU student who actually will be performing a solo role. And so I'm really excited. So 6 college students from the Albany area are going to be featured in a beautiful production.
Wonderful.
And so again, giving them the opportunity that they would not normally have, because Nutcrackers, they are plentiful. But I want to say about this, I've been passing out the posters and like, oh, another Nutcracker, oh, another Nutcracker, okay. I want to say that this Nutcracker is different. It is different for a lot of reasons. First, let's start with the title, okay? But then the sets are exquisite. The continuity of Claire's dream is consistent. This Nutcracker is set on the landscape of Tallahassee. So it's set in the governor's mansion.
Okay.
So the ambassadors from other countries come. So you have, I think it's like 6 different other nationalities come to the house for this Christmas party. And so these 6 nationalities, they are present in the fight scene. The rats are represented. So we have a Chinese ambassador in the party scene. We have a Chinese rat. We have a Chinese divertissement. So it's a crazy
reflective
dream
of our true society.
Right, and what I love about his creativity is I think about how even in our dreams, if we experience something during the day and we carry it in, or if we're watching television and we pull it into our dream,
yes,
and then we finish it, and so what I love is that he made it very there's a continuity.
Sure.
So from the first part of the dream, which is a little bit nightmarish, into the snow scene, into the land of the sweets. So there's a continuity there. It's like, I like to say that our Nutcracker is like a historical kind of thing for Tallahassee, and it's also the Nutcracker meets Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
There's a lot of humor. There's something for everybody. And that's what I love. From young and old, they will enjoy it. But I will say though, now a lot of people are saying, oh, $15. What I did was I talked to Henry and I had him reduce the price point because we're in Albany.
Okay.
So, for people who are saying, oh, $15 is too much, please know that normally it would be twice that.
Oh, if not more. Yeah.
If not more. Okay, so $15 is a bargain, and so I hope that they will not let the price deter them. And I hope that people will even use this as an opportunity to buy tickets for gifts, if that's,
great idea.
And we have wonderful sponsors in this area. We have the Hampton Inn Suites and the Quality Inn, who will be housing the dancers that come from out of town. Of course, our institution is a sponsor. And Wanzhou's, the Chinese restaurant, will be selling tickets. So I'm really excited with the community support. And I just feel that I really just hope that people will come out and enjoy.
I hope so
really
too.
Do.
Well, and let me echo what you just said in regards to the cost. It is extremely nominal.
Right.
And I still say this all the time. Everybody knows that I'm originally from Detroit, and so I still have in my mind that tickets for children for events like this will start at $25, $35. We won't even get into the adults, $50, $75 on
Exactly.
up for a major production of this depth and magnitude. That's just a standard.
It's the
so you
norm.
just always prepare. So
Right.
$15 is, yes, very inexpensive for quality production.
Absolutely.
But one of the things that really excites me, for personal reasons, that's one of my favorite ballets. I've always loved the Nutcracker. You never tire of seeing, and that's just like my, it's, you know, the holiday season.
Absolutely.
When you see that just
Absolutely.
ignites the whole, you know, 2-month process. The other thing that I'm really excited about is that because the focus is on diversity, there's a huge opportunity to educate those that
Absolutely.
attend, particularly our young people.
Absolutely.
Because it's, and studies have indicated this, that when you are teaching and providing instruction, it's oftentimes important to have something for the listener or the student to identify with.
Absolutely.
And so if I don't see someone that speaks as I do, looks as I do, that has similar experiences that I do, then my opportunity to engage and connect sometimes is diminished.
Absolutely.
Right.
I absolutely
right.
agree.
So now we have the chance to see different nationalities, genders playing different roles, and so that heightens the chances to engage.
And you know, and even for my college students, because a dear friend of mine is going to come and perform the Rat Queen in the Arabian Divertissement. She's she's from Haiti originally, but she's based in Atlanta, professional dancer there. And so when my students see her performing, and they're college students, what it does for them is tremendous. So then you multiply that times, I don't know, a trillion for the young ones. Because right now, as you know, I'm teaching the ballet class for Girls Inc.
Yes.
So my thing is, okay, so you see a black woman teaching you ballet, and then you're gonna have an opportunity to not only see me perform, and I'm doing a character role, I'm not doing the dancing, but I'm like the significant dancing, but then you'll see somebody like Regine Metier, who was dancing in Point, and who was, I think a few years back, who was our Sugar Plum Fairy.
Okay.
So, you know, and she was with Dancing of Harlem as well, Bal Ethnic in Atlanta, and now she is a freelance, and she has her own studio. But somebody who is in the industry active, that they will be able to put their hands on. And I know that my mother, when I was coming up, she made a point of letting me see Dancing of Harlem, letting me see Alvin and at the time it was very limited.
Right.
But to see where my training could take me, you know, and so I feel that is important. You're studying, you want to do this professionally, well look, there are opportunities and you can do it. You know, and I feel that point of contact is so important, and that's why I feel this is a great production. Particularly for this area, I see a range of students here, and a lot of them really don't understand their potential. You know, they live so far beneath their abilities, and I see it manifesting in different ways.
So do I.
And so it's not too late. They're young. These college kids, to me, they're young. I call them kids. You know, and it's not too late for them to be impacted.
It's not.
You know,
and so let's make an appeal. You again, another excellent point. But let's make an appeal to our parents out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Exposure is so key in the developmental process of our children. One of my fondest memories, and fortunately I have many, of spending time with my grandmother and my mother, who is no longer here. But I remember, and I may have been maybe between the ages of 8 and 11 or 12, but I had the chance to see Eartha Kitt perform in Timbuktu.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
So here I sit, 47, and I still can recall that, and the majesty of that, and the beautiful performance, and the colors, and so again, the exposure is key. I still have 1 or 2 steps on the dance floor, so that's not my area of expertise. But to be able to see, you know, such grandeur, and, you know, going to the Fisher Theater in Detroit and seeing Avery Brooks perform Paul Robeson, and so it's important. And so again, back to that sense of normalcy. This is my norm. So again, hopefully many parents out there will make this a tradition, holiday tradition, and it's an investment.
It is.
And I know we frivolously spend $15 at McDonald's and
Truly.
things of that, right? And so for this to have a lasting impact on our kids,
Right.
is something that we just simply must do.
Right.
What are the dates of this production?
We are only performing one day. Here, I'm going to look at the poster because
Okay.
you know I have like many productions in my head.
I know.
But Saturday, November 30th.
Okay.
And there are two shows. There's a 2:30 matinee and an evening performance at 7:30.
Okay.
So the 7:30 we intentionally chose because it's evening, so you still get the idea of going to the theater at night, but it's not super late when you leave. So 2:30 and 7:30. Right.
Great.
And as I mentioned, tickets are available at Wanzhou's Chinese restaurant. Also, we are selling them on campus at in the humanities division.
Good.
Both shows 2:30 and 7:30, and of course the dancers will be walking around. So hopefully people are prepared, you know, with their cash, their checks, you know, because also it goes for a good cause.
Certainly.
The dance program and supporting World Ballet and their willingness to come and share their gifts with us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm excited.
I am too.
Yes,
I
really
so
am.
Very excited.
That's a big thing for me just to kick off the season. So
Absolutely.
a lot of times I don't actually get to see a live production of it, so I'm sticking in a DVD.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You won't have to do that.
I won't have to do that this year. Yes. So we have two
Absolutely.
performances, 2:30, 7:30, November 30th.
So it's after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's a perfect reason to get out of the house and burn off the turkey. And if you have house guests that you want to get rid of, you can say, oh, well, you know, we're going to performance, so love you, you have to go, you know, or come with.
Or come with.
And then go from there. Or go shopping because we're right in the middle of everything, right near the mall.
Yes.
So, you know, treat yourself to an afternoon show and then go shopping.
Sure.
You know, so I think it's a wonderful way to kick off the Christmas season, the holiday season.
I agree. And you said you have something else going on. Do we want to briefly share
that?
Yes,
absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier, on the 16th, we have the Student Choreography Showcase.
Okay.
And that will be Saturday following the visitation day that we usually have on campus. Students are showcasing their choreography, and I'm really proud of them.
I'm sure.
So we have, I think, about 5 or 6 pieces, and while that's going on, and in the beginning and the end, one of my dancers, who also is a visual artist and a graduate of the Darton art program, will be having an art show. Right, so that will be in the lobby, in the kind of the conference room, right off of the lobby area.
So we'll have a mixture of mediums at night.
Oh, absolutely. And then in between the dances, because I have so many dancers in so many pieces, we're going to be showing the young woman's name is Camellia Giddens, and her artwork will be projected. So you'll get a chance to see her work, and hopefully we'll have a live accompanist. And then you'll not only see her work, but then you will come and be able to go into the lobby area and then buy a print or even an original work. Yes, so we have a lot going on. Yes, I'm really excited about that.
Save some money up, it sounds like.
Listen, yes, and get your Christmas shopping done early, your Hanukkah shopping, you know, all of that, birthday, everything. All of that, yes.
Great, great. So great things happening here on Darton State College's campus. Good. Well, I'm excited. I always tell you how excited I am, and you, as if you just arrived yesterday, and you're probably going on, what, 2 or 3 years now?
Well, it's my second year.
Your second year, okay. All right, So again, still elated that you are here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and your commitment to the program, and just not only the program itself, but just engaging the community. That is such a part of the bedrock and stability of any city, municipality, or that's so critical.
I'm really pleased. And and I just have to say, the children that are performing in the Nutcracker from the Albany area have been doing a tremendous job. I am so proud of them. I'm going to have to share ownership of them, you know, from their parents, because they have been working so diligently. We only rehearse on Saturdays. We just recently expanded our rehearsal schedule. And I mean, if for no other reason, come out and see these young ones do their thing. I mean, just so diligent, working so beautifully. And I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful. So am I. So November 30th, 2:30 and 7:30.
That's correct.
Tickets are available now?
Absolutely.
Okay, Darton State College's humanities program, and then also, or division, and then the other outside venue to purchase tickets is?
Wanzhou's Chinese restaurant on North Westover.
Okay, outstanding. Dr. Elizabeth Delancy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's always a pleasure.
My
thank
pleasure.
You so much.
Viewers, thank you for joining me for this edition of Profiles of Success. I'm Wendy Wilson, and I'll see you next time.